It's Friday, March 25th. I'm out at another permission today. This is about 60 acres. As you can see, there's a lot of area to cover. I'm going to be hiking down this hill here, down through the trees into another huge pasture. I've been out here a couple of times before. I haven't found a whole lot except for some old buttons and things like that. Not a lot of iron in the ground, so it should be kind of fun, clean type hunt. See you soon. Alright, so after a short hike, I made it up to the upper fields, the back side of the property. As you can see, there's quite a bit of ground to cover. When you get down around this bend here, this is probably about a half or maybe a quarter of the back part of the lot. It wraps back down around to the left all the way to the back side of the property. When you get through those trees and over here, you're actually, that's another person's property, so I can't go over that way. But I'm going to head down here. I've only been down this area once and back. I haven't covered much of it at all. We'll be obviously today using the AT Pro with the big coil to cover as much ground as I possibly can. The grass is a little bit high, so I'm going to lose a little bit of depth, but there's a lot of areas that isn't too bad, so I want to work it and see what I can find. I'll show you when I get to the first hole. Alright, my first hole today, well actually my second hole. The first hole was some trash. I was getting a real scratchy signal with the high tone mixed in. It was jumping anywhere from 20 to 80, with a little squeaker inside. And I ended up finding this maybe about an inch down. I've seen these before. I think it's a shell casing of some sort. I can't see any information on it. Does look like it's tore up a little bit. Interesting find. I'll keep that one and see what else I can find on the next hole. I'm going to take a second and stop and kind of show you the back side of the farm here. Where I showed you earlier was way up here. I was up here at this thing, is where I started. And then this field, like I said, kind of rolls. It goes all the way down to the back of the property, over that way, and ends at that tree line back there. Looked like when I first came here, way in the back there was a kind of a flat area, which I will get back to here in a few minutes. That may have had a barn there, but there's nothing in the ground to indicate such, which is unfortunate. The only things I found so far is like that bullet casing, some trash, and then a bolt, an iron bolt that was pretty much laying on top of the ground. I'm going to keep hatting at it for the next couple hours and see what I can find, and I'll get back to you. Well, about a minute or two after I showed you the back side of this field, we were across a real scratchy signal, but it was a little bit iron and a little bit kind of in the 50s. So I went ahead and dug it. It was a little bit repeatable. Sounded deep, but it was actually very shallow. It was probably about an inch deep. Looks like, it's a piece of lead. I'm no bullet expert, but it does look like possibly a fired round ball or pistol ball of some sort. It is flattened out on one side. Oops, sorry, not in the picture. It's flattened out on one side. There's a little bit of, cleaned it up a little bit just so I could see what it was. Interesting. I'll see what else I can find. So here is a great example of a really delicious high tone, sounding like silver, on the AT Pro with the big coil. Not getting hardly any iron grunts when you initially find the item. This plow part was laying flat in this hole at the very bottom of the hole. This is 8 inches deep right here. Probably another, so probably 8, 9, 10, 12, 10 to 12 inches deep, laying completely flat. Sounded really awesome. I mean, it's a neat find, but not much I can do with that. Just a plow point of some sort. So I guess I'll have to fill this back in and get back to the next one. See ya. I finally got a signal that sounds something other than iron. This one's registering anywhere from 50s to 60s. Pretty consistent anywhere I go. Might have some depth to it. Measuring about 6 to 8 inches. A little bit of a tweak high tone in it. So we're going to give this one a dig, and I'll get back to you here in a minute. That's in the plug. Which means it wasn't quite as deep. It must be a little bit small. Or very small on top of the surface. And it was very small. Another small bullet casing or shell right on top of the surface, about a ½ inch down. That's one of the problems with the big coil. Tiny targets sound deep. Big targets sound shallow. Even more so than the regular coil. Well, anyway, it's pretty cool. Go ahead and move on to the next one. Not finding much out there at the back field, so I've decided to move up back towards the car into one of the other 3 fields that we have here. This one I really haven't hit. I just kind of walked the back edge a couple of times back in through those trees. So this time I'm going to kind of work my way up here, see what I can find. Not much today, but bullets and iron. Bullets and iron, that's pretty much all I found. So hopefully this will feel a little bit better for me. Well, today was a little bit of a bust. I pretty much got bullets and iron. Shotgun shells, some about 5 or 10 pieces of lead, and old iron parts from plows and such. This is pretty much everything I dug up today. There's really very little trash out in this field. I don't think it's been used for a very long time, and I don't think it's used for a very long time. The oldest thing I ever found was an old flat button, and that was down there to the right of those trees at the bottom of that gully. Very old flat button with some, I don't think it even had any stampings on the back. So I'm going to call today. Been out here for a couple hours. A little tired. I might stop at another place. If I do, then I'll show you anything I find there. If not, then I appreciate you watching. Have a great one.